So, going over the answers from the previous lesson, the last two slides I wanted you to fill out these blanks. So, the Earth spins on its axis at an angle of 23.4 degrees. So, it's tilted at an angle of 23.4 degrees. It takes 24 hours to complete one spin. So one day you could have written here rather than 24 hours. The Earth also orbits the Sun, and it takes 1 year to complete one orbit. You could have written 365.224 days, or you could have written 1 year here. In the summer, the UK is tilted towards the Sun. Every country above the equator or in the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. Whether that be UK, UAE is above the equator as well, even though it's quite close, it still is above. Europe, you've got north part of northern Africa, you've got Russia. All of these countries are in the northern hemisphere and they tilt towards the earth. Now, as a visual picture, now that's all the countries in this region here. So they all in the northern hemisphere are tilting towards the sun, whereas the southern hemisphere is tilting away. All the countries there are tilting away from the sun. This means there are more hours of sunlight as the northern hemisphere is tilted more towards the sun. What happens is you will get more hours of light compared to dark. The sun rays shine more directly onto the earth, and that means it feels hotter. So just imagine putting your head towards, tilting your head towards a heater. As you tilt your head towards the heater, your head is going to feel hotter, your face is going to feel hotter. Tilt your head away from the heater, you'll feel less hot. Same way the earth, as it's tilted in the northern hemisphere, those regions will feel a little hotter than the parts that are tilted away. In the winter, the UK is tilted away from the sun. So just imagine you tilt your head back away from, let's say, a heater that's giving off heat. What's going to happen is less heat's going to reach you, and this means less hours also. We will get, because the Earth is spinning, less hours of sunlight, more hours of darkness. The sun rays are spread over a larger area and they are less concentrated, and this means it feels colder. The seasons, if it's the summer in the UK, the North Pole is tilted towards the sun. We've just explained that. The South Pole is tilted away from the sun, and we can see that in our picture here. The South Pole is tilted away from the sun. The North Pole is always tilted towards the sun, and that's in the summer. Okay, in the winter, the North Pole is tilted away from the sun and the South Pole is tilted towards the sun. But we are discussing the summer. So now it's in the UK, so this is countries in the Northern Hemisphere are short. When it is the summer in the UK, it is winter in Australia, because Australia is in the Southern Hemisphere close to the South Pole. The Earth tilts mean the South Pole is colder than the equator because the sun's energy spreads over a larger area. Okay, so this is because at the equator, the sun is directly above, overhead during the day, whereas in the South Pole, the sun appears lower in the sky near the horizon, and that energy is spread over a much larger area, which is why it feels much colder compared to the sun being directly overhead.